para bagang napakatagal na ng ating huling pagtatagpo. Subalit ng aking tignan ang kalendaryo, aking napagtanto na ito ay nito nakaraang linggo lamang pala. Akala ko
Galing.
pa naman ay noong nakaraang linggo pa tayo nagkita. Hindi pa pala lumalampas ng isang linggo. Aking nabasa ng masusi ang iyong isinulat sa unang bahagi. Hala, ito na. Sa unang bahagi, masasabi ko na tama ang iyong ginawa. Subalit, eto na, subalit. Meron akong nararapat lamang na ipaalam sa iyo nang ikaw ay lubusang matuto. At ito ay sa pangalawang bahagi ng iyong ipinadala. Kung ating babalikan, meron tayong isang bilog na nasa loob ng tatsulok at ang tatlong bahagi ng tatsulok. Ngayon, mahirap na sabihin ng tangent eh. Okay.
Yung hindi po pwede paano yung mat.
Uh, or rather, hindi tayo sanay. Meron akong nabasa sa UP. I'm sure meron silang I'm not really advocating for it. Pero may nakita akong libro, nakikitan ako, or siguro novelty lang talaga sa akin. Meron silang mga salita para sa equality, sa equation, tumbasan. Tapos inequality, ditumbasan. So, di ba, katumbas. So, okay, kakaiba. Anyway, Joshua, dito sa In Circle, ganito no. So you're right. Angle bisector ito. Angle bisector. Yeah, kasi in circle. And then let this be the in center. Ang error dito is in assuming the point of tangency is going to be the continuation of that segment. Remember, ang point of tangency from the in center, it's supposed to be perpendicular. So halimbawa, ito ng in center, no? And if this is the point of tangency, okay, so you have a 90-degree angle there. For this point of tangency, 90-degree angle there. But from the in-center to that third side, to get the point of tangency, you have to drop a perpendicular. This is the point of tangency. Yan ang point of tangency. So the continuation of that purple segment will be not the point of tangency. So this is rather how it's gonna look like.
So, sir, try na lang po ni Joshua ulit.
Yeah, oo. Gusto lang ipakita nung ano talaga mangyayari pag i-extend. So, okay, ito ng angle bisector. Okay. So that's the in center, and then the points of tangency are going to be here. Okay. So you got a 90-degree angle as you drop the perpendiculars. So ito nung in circle.
Ba? Para to skill yata po.
Masusunod lang yan. Tapos, if you're gonna extend that segment from that vertex above to the in center, pag i-extend mo siya, ito siya. So as you can see, not the point of tangency. So if this is A and this is B, and then if you divide this by M and N, then because of the angle bisection, then that's where you have the relation M over A equals N over B. Okay, pero nung pag-i-equal, if this is So ito no y. From there to there, no y. Ito no y. All right.
Opo.
So try again. Oh, if might I give you a hint? Look at AD. AD is not just any segment. I mean, it is a segment. It's a Chevian, it's a Cevian, but what special segment is it relative to the triangle ABC?
Median.
AD is a median. The length of AD is 3x. You've found the lengths of the two other sides. BC is given it's 20. AC is also 10, right? 10. And then this is useful. AB has length 10 plus 2x square root of 2. AD is a median whose length is 3x. Do you remember an exercise we did a while back? Given the sides of a triangle, find the length of a median. So the length of the median is related to the lengths of the three sides. And here you have a representation for the lengths of the three sides and also the median. So,
Yes, I forgot po. I forgot.
all right, okay, so all of that. So yeah, let's try to go back to that. And then, well, because ultimately, if you want to find the area of ABC, then you need the lengths of the sides. So you can use Heron's formula. You already have two of the sides, 10 and 20. We just need the length of AB, which is 10 plus 2x squared of 2. So all we need is to figure out the value of x. Eh, dapat ba't ba ako nag-i-English? Dapat nagtatagalog. Eh, para malaman ang sukat na tinataglay ng tatsulok na ABC. Nararapat lamang na malaman natin kung gaano kahaba ang sukat ng panig na AB at kung gayon nais natin malaman ano ang halaga ng titik X. Eh, yun na lamang. Eh, yun na lamang ang natatangi mong kailangan gawin.
Pag dapat po sa, yun sa meeting niya po sa mga foreigner, mag-ano po kaya Tagalog lang para hindi po maintindihan.
Oo, tapos nung sa baba may magsa-sign language, doon na lang sila magre-rely kasi di nila ako maintindihan. Yeah, mga ganun sa baba. Okay. Um, so let's continue with circles, in particular about lengths. So we've already talked about, actually, as far as the section is concerned, about lengths. No? If you have two chords intersecting, so it is exemplified by this example, x times x equals 18 times 6. But then if the intersection is not inside the circle, but rather outside the circle as exemplified by this theorem, so you have two secants PD and AB, then the measures of the segments from P, PC and PD, and then for the other segment, PA and PB, then if you take the products, it's going to be the same value. So they're going to be equal PA times PB equals PC times PD. So that's what we've been doing. We've been looking at let's continue, more examples. So, HAL, halimbawa. Okay. That's madaming letters.
For this entire ano po, dapat yung buong ano po, buong math, lahat po na masusunod po nakatagalog.
Oh, ito Tagalog. Tapos instead no proof, katunayan o katibayan. Ito example. Triangle ABC. Ayan.
Dapat pa yung paputok hindi po triangulo, dapat po tatsulok no?
Oo. Okay. Medyo Hispanized, Hispanic nung triangulo. Ito.
Ano na po Tutunan na lang po nila yan eh. Yan, sulok ano yan eh, Indonesian po na ano eh, yung origin. Sulok na
Oh, talaga, nasulot okay.
sa kanila. Kaya galing po yan sa Sultanate of Sulu.
Okay, that's cool. So, yun nga, I figured Triangulo versus Tatsulok. Si Tatsulok nung mas Asian. Okay, we have the following. Okay. So, A, B, C. And then D, E, F. So given AB equals 8, BC equals 14, and then CA or AC equals 10, find AF, BD, and then CE.
So this is very let's see.
So the mga givens, so this is 8, and mga purple, mga
At ano po sa Tagalog?
lila,
Lila, tama.
alam ko lila.
Bakit may lila? Di ba lilac yan? Wala naman nag-grupo na lilac dito. Is pa nice.
Lilac flower. Okay, paano yan? AF. So DEF, the incircle, and then DEF are the points of tangency.
CE equals CD, AF equals AE, and BD equals BF.
All right.
So,
So ngayon, let's give them variable names.
yung sub kanila is the semi-perimeter.
Yes, actually that's it. The sum is the semi-perimeter. Okay. Kasi ito, I suppose you figured out that's also X, right? And then this is also Y, and then this is also Z. So this gives us, if you just look at the figure, X plus Y equals 8, and then Y plus Z, urong ko dito 14, and then urong ko dito ng 8, system of equations. And then X plus Z equals 10. Joshua, how would you solve this?
Diba po, makukuha po natin is yung perimeter.
Okay.
Yung semi-perimeter X plus Y plus Z lang po, diba? So, pag nakuha po natin yan, the semi-perimeter minus X plus Y, which is 8, then we can get Z. Pag yung iba na, yung Y
Gotcha.
X, etc.
All right. So twice X plus Y plus Z equals 8 plus 14 plus 10. So that means X plus Y plus Z equals 4 plus 7 plus 5. Itong smaller numbers lang i-add ko. Or maybe we can escape having to add that. So therefore, if we're looking for Z, is to subtract natin ang X plus Y. So this is the semi-perimeter. Okay, so Z is S minus X plus Y. So that's going to be 4 plus 7 plus 5 minus 8. And 16. So 16 minus 8 is 8. And then X is...
4 plus 7 plus 5 equals 475 po.
Sorry, what's that?
Di ba po yung 4 plus 7 plus 5 equals 475?
Okay. Ha ha ha. Heck, 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 heck. Okay. Joshua, lubos ang nakakatawa ang iyong tinuran. Okay. So ito. So 2 na lang. And then y is s minus x plus z, 16 minus 10, so 6. All right, so you're right. No, x plus y plus z, that's equal to s. Okay. Also, we see here that if we call these lengths, they're provided for in the problem, but if we call this opposite vertex a small a, and then opposite vertex b, whose side length is then small b, and then this is small c, currently equal to 8, then what we see here is that we can actually write down the values of x, y, and z also in terms of a, b, and c. Okay, so we see how a, b, and c can be written in terms of x, y, and z. Naturally, x, y, and z can also be written in terms of a, b, and c. How? Well, look how z is equal to s minus x plus y, but then s is the semi-perimeter a plus b plus c over 2 minus x plus y. On the other hand, if you look at the figure, that's on the left side, that's side c, x plus y. So here we get a plus b minus c all over 2. And then
Oh, no, yung
similarly,
I can see it na po yung Heron's formula.
di ba, nag-appear dito ng Heron's formula ng mga numerators. So y is equal to a minus b plus c over 2, and x is minus a plus b plus c over 2. All right, so for future reference. Okay, tapos, okay. Use, okay, use equation star, use the equations in star to justify or prove the triangle inequality. Do you remember the triangle inequality? It's this basic inequality which says that you take any two sides, and then
The side must be greater than the third side.
right, and it's going to be strictly greater than the third side. Okay, so let's take itong triangle na to, and then A, B, C, small a, small b, small c, and then so there are three inequalities that would have to be proved, one of which is that b plus c is greater than a. Okay. And then there are other two. A plus c is greater than b, and then a plus b is greater than c. But those three inequalities are going to have proofs that are similar. So let's just take one of them. So let's prove the following. B plus c is greater than a. Now, one way to do that is to consider the in circle. Consider the in circle. Yeah. Tapos, ng points of tangency, let's use the same variables.
Yeah,
X, X.
me after teaching elementary students po to prove to prove the triangle inequality theorem by drawing an in circle and then teaching them po the tangent how tangents of a circle are.
Tangent. All right. Okay. Okay. B plus C greater than A. Okay. This is equivalent to B is equal to, from the figure, X plus Z. How about C?
C
X plus
is
Y.
Y.
Sorry, binigay ka na. How about A?
x y plus z.
Y plus Z, which is equivalent to, if you simplify this inequality in terms of x, y, and z, you see how y and z can be canceled from both sides. And so we're left with 2x is greater than 0, which is clearly true. All right, x is the length of a side. Oh,
So does this,
actually, x is the length of a tangent segment.
so does this mean po
So,
yun sa yung mga sinasabi po nila negative side, negative dimensions? Then, does that mean po na technically if there were negative dimensions to the two sides, yes, it would be possible. Kasi po if one, pag pwede po negative, 2x does not necessarily have to be greater than 0.
um, well, if you're talking about directed segments, ang issue doon would be you would have to go back to the meaning kasi ito, ang usage natin ng x is just for the typical distance, typical segment length. Okay, so x is the length of that particular tangent segment. Actually, there are two of them. And then y and z are also lengths of particular tangent segments. And these are strictly positive. Usually, when we speak of halimbawa, you might see mn is equal to -3, for example. Usually, in such a situation, merong standard na fina-follow, merong meaning. But once you write mn equals -3, -3 represents something else which is not the physical length of the segment. Okay? Pag makakita ka ng mga text or reference which says mn is equal to -3, iba ang ibig nilang sabihin. They're not referring to the physical length. Okay? So, in that case, hindi applicable nung ganoong scenario dun sa context ng triangle inequality, because when we speak of the triangle inequality, what we mean are the physical lengths. And the physical lengths, these are positive quantities. Okay. So the mga directed segments, ibang ano yun, parang iibang uusapan yun. Alright? Okay. It's more of halimbawa, si Pedro may utang kay Jose na 10 pesos. Alright? So pwedeng, ano, halimbawa, nung utang itself, 10 pesos. Alright? Pero, kunwari, nag-a-accounting sila, pwedeng ilagay na, ano, merong -10 na matatanggap nung, may -10 sa account ng one of them. Alright? But in terms of nung actual na utang, nung standard, it's 10 pesos. Okay? I'd like to talk about the power of a point, if you've heard of this. Okay, the power of a point. Let's start with, so power of a point with respect to a circle. Let's start with the following situation where we're given a circle and P is outside the circle. Okay. P is outside the circle. Okay. From point P, we can draw two tangent segments to the circle. And suppose the points of tangency are A and B. From point P, we could also draw these secant segments. C, D, E, F. So recall that PC times PD equals PE times PF, but that particular common value is also going to be shared with PA squared and also with PB squared. Now observe that this common value, whatever it is, this common value depends only on P and the circle itself. By that, I mean, it doesn't really matter where C and D are on the circle. It doesn't really matter where E and F are on the circle. But of course, P, E, and F still have to be collinear. But as soon as that is guaranteed that P, E, and F are collinear, then PE times PF will share the common value given by the expressions that I've written above this sentence. We call this common value the power of P. The power of P. If there's only one circle, then the term power of P is sufficient. But sometimes there might be more than one circle. So to be specific, this is the power of P relative to that particular circle. If there was another circle, the power of P would be something else. So the power of P with respect to the circle. Okay. So actually, the power of P. Okay. So let P be a point outside the circle below. Let O be the center of the circle. Wait. Then let the circle have center and radius O and R respectively. Okay. Show that the power of P uh, equals OP squared minus R squared. Okay. The power of P equals OP squared minus R squared. Okay. So drawing natin si point P here. Okay. OP squared is the length of this segment. Okay. And then, could you imagine? So yeah, how?
Yes, because let's say po the wait. P a tangent from P to the circle
Yeah,
would be
good.
perpendicular to the radius. So using
So,
the
so actually, straight lang siya sa Pythagorean theorem. Diba? All right. Okay. So, let PA be tangent to the circle. So, OA is perpendicular to PA. Okay. Then, the power of P is if we're given those other secants like PD, then the power would be equal to PC times PD. But if we take a tangent like PA squared would also be equal to the power of the point P. So this is equal to PA squared. But from the figure, we see that this is equal to PO squared minus OA squared. So there you go, PO squared minus R squared. All right. Now, next scenario, okay, P, let's say the point P is inside the circle.
Then how would it have a power po because there's no tangent?
We're going to define the power of the point P differently. Let's say P is inside the circle. Okay, so that's point P. Remember, if we draw any chord through P, let's say the chord AB and CD, recall that PA times PB equals PC times PD. Yes?
Opo.
Now, definition natin ng power of a point P outside the circle is that it's equal to PC times PD or PE times PF. So it's the product. So if you take a segment, let's say PF, and then it meets a circle at points E and F, then we multiply PE and PF, and then the product, that's the power of P. Now from P, which is inside the circle, if we take a chord, for example, AB, then if we measure the distances of P from A and B and multiply them, we get PA times PB. And this is actually going to be common, even if you use the chord CB through P, then PC times PD is going to have the same value. So it would almost make sense to use this common value as the power of point P. However, we define the power of P as the negative of this common value. So kung P is inside, then the power is the negative. So parang kakaiba, no? Bakit hindi na lang nung value itself PA times PB? Kunwari, PA times PB is equal to 7. So we're saying the power of P is negative 7. Bakit negative 7? But hindi na lang 7? Kasi, ganito. Look here. Okay. Claim okay, the power of P equals the same difference PO squared minus R squared pa rin.
But R squared is positive but is greater than PO because PO is closer to the center than the circle
Right.
itself.
So if P is outside the circle, PO is larger than R. So this is going to be positive. Dito sa previous case. So PO squared minus R squared, this is going to be positive. But on the other hand, if P is inside the circle, PO would be smaller than the radius. So that's going to mean PO squared minus R squared is going to be negative. So ultimately, pwedeng i-define ng power of a point as just simply PO squared minus R squared. And then, fortunately, it turns out it's possible to relate this difference, PO squared minus R squared, to the common values of these products that we discussed last time. Pero ipakita natin, why is the power of P equal to PO squared minus R squared, even when we are inside the circle. Na gawin natin, let's consider a special situation that would lead to the power of the point. In the previous case, we considered not just any secant through P, but in particular a tangent segment PA. Now, for the case where P is inside the circle, let's draw not just any chord, but the most special chord there is.
The
Well,
diameter.
let's use a diameter. Although, of course, there are infinitely many diameters, but there's only going to be one diameter through point P. So, andito nung center O, and then point P is here. I-drawing natin ng diameter. And then let's call them A, B. Okay. Let AB be the diameter through P and O. Then we already talked about the power of P is the negative of PA times PB. All right. So from P, if you measure the distances from A and B and then take their product, that's going to be PA times PB. But I pointed out that we want to define the power not to be the product, but not to be merely the product, but rather the negative. And here's the reason. Kasi, ganito, negative. Okay. PA, let's express PA and PB in terms of PO, the distance of P from the center, and the radius. Okay, I think mas madaling makita ito. PB is equal to PO plus the radius, right? How about PA?
PA is the radius minus PO. Ah, okay.
All right. Okay. So no negative, we're gonna have R squared minus PO squared, and finally PO squared minus R squared pa rin. All right. So right. All right. So mukhang ganun, no? So uh if P is outside the circle, the power is PO squared minus R squared. And then if P is inside the circle, PO squared minus R squared. What if point P is on the circle, on the circumference of the circle? Ano ang power of P?
R squared is equal to 0.
All right. Yeah. Although it's not useful, but it fits. If P is outside, the power is positive. If P is inside, the power is negative. So the transition would be when P is on the circle, and the transition from positive to negative is 0. Okay. If P is on the circle, we define its power to be 0. Hence, in all cases,
So this is with po, or so let's say po every ano po every point po that has this power is there's a specific place it could be po. So let's say if you're defining a point by means of a circle, pwede niyo pong sabihin yan.
ano ulit yun? Sorry.
If you're going to without let's say using po Cartesian coordinates, the power of this point is here. So this the power of this point is this value. So matatriangulate na rin po yung ano yung location po ng point.
Are you saying, is it going to determine the exact location of the point?
Hindi po. Let's say po there are two circles. The
Okay.
power of the point related to each circle. Wait. There will be two positions po or one position where it could pass.
there are gonna be two. Sorry, what's that? Medyo naging choppy. So okay, you're talking about two circles, and then you have a
Opo.
point P, which is outside both circles.
Opo.
So the
So,
power.
but
Okay,
the
go
power,
ahead.
if you know both the power of the point of both circles, regarding related to both circles, there are two positions for it to be. If there are three circles, there are three positions of them for it to be, but then smaller. So if there are more and more circles, we will not be able to pinpoint where the
Wait,
exact
hold on. Sorry, I need you to be accurate. So, para lang sigurado tayo na. So, okay. So, two circles, and then point P. So, P is going to have a power with respect to the first circle, and then a power with respect to the second circle. And then you seem to be, oh, so you're saying there is going to be another point, Q, which has the same power.
Opo. So if there are three circles, then there will
Actually,
be three
hindi.
points. But
Actually, here's the thing. There's gonna be infinitely many.
what?
Oh, there's gonna be infinitely many. Papunta tayo doon. Hold on. Okay. Okay, get it up. So okay, I wanted to be sure. You seem to jump to the conclusion that if you have two circles, and then given a point P, so we can determine it's. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I misunderstood you. Okay. So kunwari, P. Ang power niya with respect to the first circle is 7. Ang power niya with respect to the second circle, suppose it's 8. And then you're saying um, there's going to be one other point Q, a unique point Q, whose power with respect to the first circle is 7, and whose power with respect to the second circle is also 8. That's what you're claiming, right?
So if there
Na
are three,
unique nung Q. But why? How do you know there's no third point, which would have whose power with respect to um with respect to the first and second circles are 7 and 8 respectively?
I think for the all of the points, if you take the locus of all of the points with the specific power, I think the locus is a circle too.
Kasi wait, hold on. The centers are A and B. Tapos nung radius nila, small r and big R. So 7 is P A squared minus R squared. And then nung 8, this is PB squared minus big R squared. Tapos so nung Q, so QA squared minus R squared equals 7. Then QB squared minus big R squared is equal to 8. So actually ibig sabihin nito, PA squared equals R squared plus 7. QA squared equals R squared plus 7. So PB squared equals big R squared plus 8. QB squared equals big R squared plus 8. So actually, ito kasi big R squared plus 8, fixed na ng value niyan eh. Whatever the radius of the big circle is, tapos small R squared plus 7, fixed na ang value niyan. So you're claiming there can only be 2 points. In fact, there are exactly 2 points such that their distances from A, the square of the distances are small r squared plus 7, and from B, big R squared plus 8. I'm not sold on the fact that there are only 2 points. I mean, possibly 2 points, pero hindi ka nakikita bakit 2 points. Why
Okay,
not
so
3 points?
let's say for if there was a if you draw all of the points with a specific power from this
Mm-hmm.
circle with a specific radius, then the
Mm-hmm.
locus of all of those points people would be a circle.
The locus of all those points would be oh Okay, and then I yeah. So I see kasi nung mga and then two circles
Will intersect po with
could
it in either 2 or 1 point.
all right. Ang gusto kong however tignan i-point on the situation ganito. Um ito two circles which are intersecting. Okay.
Sir, pwede bang ano, maka-annotate kami? Hindi.
I think pwede paano co-host naman kayo tapos I know it can be done. Let's share. All right. Ganito, your co-host, right? Can you wait, paano ba mag-annotate? Oh, so,
It's supposed to be point view. It's supposed to be point view options.
hold on. Do you see the annotate function? May
Saan po?
nakikita kayong annotate?
Ano?
Wala po.
Wala. Ganito, I'm gonna make you the host.
Nasaan po? Nasaan po yung annotate function?
Sa,
Yeah, I'm gonna make you the host.
Yeah, I'm now the host.
Okay, and
Saan
then
po yung annotate?
alam mo nung ano nung black bar where you see the mute button, the stop video button, the participants in the chat,
About
and
the
then
meeting controls?
yeah, one of the options there should be annotate. Do you see it?
Or, wala po.
Wait, enable annotation for others. Wait. Enable. Okay, can you try again?
Wala po naman po. Wala po. Out. Nakasulat po security, participants, chat, share screen, pause or stop recording, breakout room support, reactions, apps, and more. Sa more po, wala yung annotate.
Wala? Kasi again, disable annotation for others, and then enable annotation for others. And then it's weird kasi ikaw ng hostess, so dapat you should have the most features.
Bro? Weird.
Ito, I'm gonna
I am now po the most. I am now po the all powerful overseer. Where is it? Share screen. View options.
ayun, annotate.
Where? Ayun!
Ayun, meron po.
yan,
Meron ng
nakita niyo na.
Apo.
Yes.
Yun mo expand mo.
So kung
Ayun,
kung tatlo po, there will be 3 points. But they are much closer to each other. Kung apat po na points, they would be much even closer together.
But please be careful. What do you mean by 3 points? What are those 3 points supposed to be? So one at a time. So you draw three circles, okay, and then what do those three? What are those 3 points supposed to be?
Ito po yung 3 points for which the power of the point is equal for abi na po. Ibang kulay. Ito po yung original circles in dark green.
Okay, original circles.
And yung mass circles po are the circles po are the blue circles are the circles na ano po,
Mga
na
locus.
the ano po, apo, the locus, the locuses,
Okay. The
loci. So
loci.
the red points po are the possible places for which the point could possibly be po.
Mm.
So you like this po. Let's say po there's a satellite here, and then it is showing down po on the Earth. That's a circular region po, diba?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly for the other satellite, there's another
So their
satellite
scope
here.
will be a circle or okay.
So if they can calculate po the power of a point, does that mean that you can make sort of GPS po using this?
Or kasi ganito, I would still like to really look into how do you know, kunwari, given, let's go back to the situation where there are two circles before we jump to three circles. Kasi the conclusion, which makes sense, is that there are only 2 points, P and Q, such that for P and Q, the powers are equal relative to the first circle, and then for P and Q, the powers are relative to the third circle. What I'd like to show is the following situation. Itong dinrawing ko. Okay, have you heard of the term radical axis?
Hindi po.
Okay, so ganito let me uh, can I take over? Kasi medyo
Opo,
as
wait
a
po.
non-co-host and with the annotation choppy nung pen ko. So
Wait po. Participants make host.
okay. So here.
Ayan po.
Okay. Although it's a special situation, ganito consider points, ito two circles, A and B. Tapos, what's so special about A and B is that what's so special about A and B is that actually any point here dito sa segment na to. Okay. Relative to the first circle, okay, so ito kunwari C and D. Okay, so so di ba PC times PD equals PA times PB. So what this is the negative of the power, let me use the label POW, power for power of point P with respect to circle 1. So ito nung circle 1. And then obviously, ito nung circle number 2. Tapos, this time, let me draw through point P, discord through discord on the second circle on circle 2, meeting the circle at points E and F. So observation, relative to the second circle, PE times PF, di ba it's also equal to PA times PB?
Opo.
And this is the negative of the power of the same point P with respect to circle 2. So ibig sabihin, okay, P has the same power with respect to C1 and C2. But the same can be said for any other point in segment AB for any other point P prime in segment AB, lalabas kasi, di ba nangyari dito, PA times PB is shared by the negative of the powers of P with respect to C1 and C2. So kaya na-conclude natin, P has the same power with respect to C1 and C2. But then, di ba mangyayari, for any other point P prime in segment AB, P prime has the same power with respect to C1 and C2. Oh, wait, Joshua, now I understand. Sorry. I was definitely thinking about a different thing. Okay. Kasi, ang iniisip ko, what I had in mind was power of P relative to circle 1 and circle 2 equal. If there was another point P prime, nung power of P prime with respect to circle 1 and with respect to circle 2 maging equal. Pero nung power of P relative to circle 1 and the power of P prime relative to circle 1, hindi sila magkapareho. However, hindi pala yun ang pinag-uusapan mo. What you're talking about is relative to the same circle C1, P and Q have the same power.
Abo.
That's what you're talking about, diba? So, ganito. So, back to the nung illustration kanina pa. So, back here. Okay. P and Q are on a circle centered at A with radius square root of R squared plus 7. Okay, kasi PA squared and QA squared are equal to this. So that's dito na lalabas, P and Q are on a circle centered at B with radius the square root of big R squared plus 8. And then those two circles are not going to be concentric. So mag-intersect talaga sila. I mean, if they intersect, well, typically they're going to intersect at two different points. So you're right. So typically, there are only going to be 2 points, P and Q, such that the power of P and Q relative to circle 1 are equal, and the power of P and Q relative to circle 2 are equal. So ngayon, back tayo doon sa three circle situation. Okay. 3 circles. And then we have, you're talking about satellites. So you're talking about a way of triangulating. So kumbaga, ito nung scope ng satellites, tama ba?
Yes, sir. Installation below.
So ito nung dinodrawing. Okay. Nung dito sa annotation mo, parang ito yan nung nandito. 3 circles. That's what exactly are you trying to triangulate?
Let's say po oops. Let's say po there is
Utusan mo. Utusan mo. Utusan mo, Bosh.
kita naman po. There is a car po in this ito pong location, specific location. Doon po siya. So,
Okay.
yung mga yung is there a way to sort of GPS po yung location nitong car? If there are more satellites, then the intersection of those three loci will be more accurate. So it will be able to pinpoint almost exactly where this car would be.
Okay, so kumbaga ng coordinates of the car.
Opo.
But I guess I'm gonna have to dig deep into kasi when we have a satellite, even just one satellite, hindi ba ano na mapipinpoint na niya kung saan ang location ng car? So there seems to be something I'm missing. What are you assuming about what a satellite is able to do?
Theoretically lang po, let's say we build ito pong mga satellites, the 3 satellites. Using
Mm.
the power of a point, is it possible po to pinpoint the number of car, the location of the car without using Cartesian coordinates po?
Ikaw, kunyari ba nandito sa outside, hindi mapipili.
Mapipinpoint
Can
niya
you
kasi
what I'd like you to
undefined.
describe is ano exactly ang kayang gawin ng satellite. So you drew it's a rather nice drawing. So you have 3 satellites and then the satellites are able to view those circles, right? So
Opo, so they can
kumbaga
they
the
can
satellites
only
are
view
able to
each
shine a
circle.
light.
Opo, within it. But then, the problem arises po when the car is no longer in the scope of each satellite.
So
So
let's
let's say
assume
po,
the car is in the circular scopes of all 3 satellites.
the car po is outside the scope po. Ito po yung mga scopes. This the car.
Mhm. Nung
So
intersection.
so yung ano po so kung wala po siya diyan, then this point,
Wala
let's
sa
say
loob ng
po,
circle.
wala po sa loob ng circles, kumbaga off-road po siya. This point po in,
Off-road.
opo, this point should have a specific power should have a specific power relative to all 3 circles.
Mhm.
So that those
So
powers can be stored sa sort of coordinate po.
parang ano, maybe nung mechanism natin, it doesn't have to be the satellite, but from the point of view of the car. Kumbaga, kunwari ganito. Um, So no surveyors they know ganito. Let's not think in terms of satellites. Kunwari, we have 3 stations. 3 stations tapos merong scope nung station. So anyway, just think of these as 3 circular regions on a big plane, on a large plane. And then this car is lost somewhere in the desert and this car doesn't know where it is. So hindi niya so the car is asking for help, but the car cannot give its exact location. However, the car has a device which can output ano ang power niya with respect to each of the 3 circles. So kunwari, the car is able to say, my power with respect to circle A is 10. My power with respect to circle B is 7. My power with respect to circle C is 8. Joshua, can you figure out my location? I
Yun
think
po yung
that's it.
naging problem ko. Opo.
Is that it? All
Yun po
right.
yung
Okay,
problem.
okay. Alright, so ang na-clarify na natin, ano nung mechanism? Which is that this car is able to identify its power. So let's see. Okay. Um, there are so kunwari ang power ni car from circle A is kunwari okay power with respect to circle A of car is equal to 10. From that fact alone, uh, that's going to tell us that the position of the car is in a particular circle. Yeah, tapos ang radius ay ano square root of r sub a squared plus 10.
Opo.
Okay. And then let's say the power of the car with respect to circle B is equal to 8. All right. So with that, alam na natin that the location of the car is either here or here. So meron na tayong two possible locations for the car. Okay. Ngayon kung tama nung value, it cannot just be any arbitrary power, but the third circle would have to pass through the third circle would have to pass through one of those 2 points. So yes, gets gonna. All right. So in that regard, it should be possible. Okay, I understand now. Naiintindihan ko na. Not to refresh at the mechanism. Yay. Right.
Opo.
Okay. That's it
Kasi,
for first.
opo. Kung ano po, so, kung, alam niyo po yung distance from the stations, but then you don't know which, let's say po, yung GPS wala po, but then, yung, let's say po, nakikita niyo po yung stations, but it's too far away, may binoculars po kayo.
Oh.
You can triangulate the distance to each of the stations.
Yeah, actually, yun nga din kapag if you are nung power kasi what's the power based on? It's PO squared minus R squared. So if the radii of the three stations are given, then the only thing that needs to be measured is PO squared, which is merely the distance of P from the center. So actually, nung ano natin, parang to be honest, using the power here might be overkill. Kasi, it would be enough to know the distance of that car from the from the centers.
Opo.
Kumbaga, figuring out the power of P of the car with respect to circle A is equivalent to figuring out how far the car is from the center of circle A. So parang ganun din ultimately nung nangyari.
Opo.
But yes, whether you use the power or whether you use the distance, so these three readings would be enough. With two readings, it's not so bad because you end up with two possible locations. So if you have enough staff, they could go to either of those. But if you happen to have a third reading, then right away you can figure out the specific location. All right. Nice, cool. Okay. Sige. Ayusin natin to kasi the annotation is permanent. And, or I mean, even if I scroll up or down. Okay. So that's with regards to the power of a point. Okay. I wanted to talk briefly about the so-called radical axis of two circles. Okay. I, in fact, already touched upon it. So dito sa illustration na to. In fact, let me copy this.
No! It's not the
Oh, yes.
POV po. City Control C.
Alright. So the radical axis of two circles. With this, I want to move.
Dear Bill Gates, please remove the copy and paste function from OneNote. It is ruining my life.
All right. Hey, no. All right. Ay, ayaw, ayaw. Ay na magpa-copy. Nakinig sa'yo. Okay. One note, don't listen to Josh.
Why not? I am the all powerful ano po. I am the all powerful overseer.
Okay. Sige nga, Tagalogin mo yun. Makikinig ko.
Ah, ako po
Ako
yung
ang...
ako ang ako ang pinakamalakas na ano? Overseer.
No.
Ah,
Ako po ang
pinuno?
pinakamalakas na tagapagbatyag sa lahat ng kaganapan. Ayaw ano. Gustong
Ako po,
i-move to para mapag...
I already know po the solution, but I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. So, yun, ikakopy niyo po yung ano, ay tatanggalin niyo po yung figure muna, tapos yun, ikakopy niyo po yung sa baba.
Sunod circle. Nasa-select mo ba? Wag na nga lang. Ano yun, na-discuss na naman natin to. Alright, okay. Line AB. Okay. Line AB has the property, the following property. Okay. That for any point P in it, okay, the power of P relative to circle 1 equals the power of P with respect to circle 2. In fact, even A and B themselves. A is on circle 1, so the power of A with respect to circle 1 is 0, but A is on circle 2, so its power with respect to the second circle is also 0. So the power of A relative to these two circles equal. Okay, and then for any other point, even if it's outside, even if it's outside, halimbawa, ito naman, Q. Q. Nung power of Q relative to circle 1 is equal to QB times QA. But then if we look into the power of point Q relative to circle 2, it's in fact also going to be QB times QA. So relative to these two circles, line AB is a special line. We call it the radical axis. Okay. We call AB the radical axis of the two circles. So what's the radical axis? It's a collection of all points. It's a collection of all points such that for any point, you get the same power when you compare P with respect to either circle. Okay. So you know power of a point. So I don't have prepared examples for the power of a point, but I wanted to introduce it now. Hold on. I do have some examples. They're not necessarily about finding the power, but they use the...
Ano po, the power of point P is 7 with respect to circle O. Find the mass of the sun.
Wait mo. Let me know if nabigay ko na to last time, because you might remember this better. And hold on, why don't I just look at the examples last time?
Oh!
Okay, maybe not. So, i-drawing ko na lang. Circle O, and then C, and then B, D, and then E, and then given DE equals 3, BE equals 5, find radius of the circle. So does this look familiar? Have I given this last time or the past few sessions or no? Wait, itanong 3, itanong 5. Wait, ano pa? EC equals 1.
Yes. So, if the five times 3 is equal to EC times E
Wait, Joshua,
continuation.
did I give this before or not yet?
Not that.
Ah, okay, cool.
Let's say po if we continue CB, CO, what is CB? CO into until it hits the other side of the circle. So it will become a secant or a diameter. I mean, not a
Diameter.
port. So is
Let's call it
whatever the
A.
point that ako. EA. Yes, EA was left out on purpose. So this must be the right way po. So EA
Yeah.
times EC AE times EC is equal to 5 times 3. So if EC is 1, then AE will be equal to something. That is something I do not have the mental capability to ano po to. I lack the mental capability to even attempt to calculate such a meticulously crafted problem.
What's
Mm,
OE? How long is OE?
so OA po is R minus 1 and then OA is R itself. So if
So
we
what's
have
EA?
wait, I think I remember po this problem now that I remember now that I see that
Okay.
parang nagkakaroon natin ito, diba? There's this there is ano po there's a radius.
Mm-hmm.
There's a radius given po, and then you extend it. I remember this setup, and then
Anyway,
the
how
EA
long
po
is
is
EA?
R EA is R plus one or two R plus one. I two R minus one. So so 2R minus 1 is equal to 15. So therefore 2R is equal to 16. Then R equals 5 plus 3 times 69,420 to the zeroth power.
Okay. So R O is equal to 8. Okay. Sige. Parang feeling ko na bigay ko na to.
Paano
Hindi,
hindi pwede?
hindi po, meron po binigay ako problem similar po eh.
Hindi parang,
Okay.
parang binigay na rin po. Parang I have this, parang deja vu po eh. Parang I've
Hindi
done
yung
this
pinagawa
Oo
before.
ko.
nga eh. Parang when I looked at it in my notes, I wasn't sure. And then when we started talking about it, it did feel like deja vu. Okay.
May
So now
pinagawa
more.
po ako, ano po eh. Uh, I took it from ano po,
R
sa...
equals it eh. Exact po eh. That I felt po na it was
Maybe you found
R equals
maybe
it.
you found it
Tagusan C
online.
equals 1.
po,
Kasi sa
meron po akong...
online din ako tumingin eh.
Sa, ano, baka may nag-upload po. May book po ako ng geometry po, tapos bigay ko kay Joshua po yung problem. Kasi sabi ko, magkaiba kami ng slide ng solution sa...
Right, could
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Ano.
ano yung ginawa.
Yes.
Just
So,
recently po, a couple of days ago po yung ginawa.
okay. So more things about circles. Okay. And angles. Let's say the radius is 2. Wait, let's make it 3.
If the radius is mm,
So the radius is 3. What's the circumference?
6 pi.
6 pi. Okay. What if we draw this? What if we draw? But if you look at this arc, how long is this arc?
3 halves pi.
So where did that come from? 3 halves pi. So you divide that 6 pi by 4. All right. So this is 1/4 multiplied by 6 pi.
I ate I ate 3/4 of the pie, so therefore 1/4 was left.
1/4, only 1/4 is left. And the fraction 1/4 is natural because 90 degrees is 1/4 of 360 degrees. All right. So where did 1/4 come from? That's 90 divided by 360. So what this shows us is that the arc length is proportional to how big the angle opens. In this illustration, the angle opened up just to an extent that it spans 1/4 of a complete revolution. Therefore, the corresponding arc length would be 1/4 of the overall circumference. So what this tells us is that if you have, for instance, a circle with a radius big R in general, so the radius is big R. And then consider the following central angle, and suppose the measurement of the central angle is x degrees. Okay. Now let's look at the corresponding arc which corresponds to this central angle. Okay. That's going to be a particular fraction of the circumference. So let's call this small s. Okay.
The perimeter of a sector.
Yeah, the arc length. Nung perimeter
The arc
of
length
the
of a
sector, doon
sector.
isasama lang naman ng 2r to complete
Oh wait,
this figure that looks like a
question
triangle.
din po.
Yeah,
Di ba po perimeter is for
polygons.
shapes with polygons po, and then circumference is for any sort of curve. So what is the correct term for let's say a sector or a segment that has both edges and curved points?
I don't think there's a standard term. In calculus, ginagamit namin, actually ginagamit namin arc. If I were to think of the most appropriate term in general, I would go with arc length. Pero kasi, wait, hold on. No, not arc length. Length of the curve. Length of the curve. I know when we think of curve, we think of something wavy, but in higher mathematics, the term curve is used for paths in general. So parang curve kasi nung pinaka-general eh. And then if it was straight, then special case lang siya. So for what you were asking, I would refer to it as the total length of the curve. But in the end, for cases of ambiguity, kung alam mong may posibleng misinterpretation, it's best to just interpret it. Okay? Unlike nung mga ang dami-daming memes, no, and what's the meaning of, or like what's the value? 7 minus 2 times 3. So I know there's M dash, all right? Pero kung kaya mo naman i-ganyan, i-clarify para walang malito, then what's stopping us? Di ba? Lagyan mo na lang ng parenthesis para hindi malito. Nung parang magtatalo pa, what did you mean? All right? nung mathematics, when you're gonna solve a problem, maganda, alam natin kung ano ibig sabihin, tapos doon tayo nagsistruggle with the solution itself after understanding its meaning, kesa naman nung meaning pa lang hindi na tayo nagkakaintindihan. Okay. So ito, the arc length over the circumference 2 pi r, 2 pi big R is equal to the fraction x takes up relative to 360. So this is going to be computable as s over x over 360 multiplied by 2 pi big R. Ultimately, the fraction of the circumference taken up by the arc length, which is equivalent to the fraction that x degrees takes up relative to 360 degrees. Okay. Are you familiar with radian measure? Or I think we may have talked about it before.
Of course po, I am familiar with radiant measure. If I'm not familiar with radiant measure po, then I wouldn't be alive.
Okay. Okay. So 1 radian, okay,
At saka may
is
tanong din po pala ako, is the angle is in two dimensions. The,
mhm,
the opening of an angle. Is there a
okay.
3D angle sort of? Let's say po yung sa sphere, di ba po sa peso de bola, if you cut it
Mm-mm.
like it's sort of like make a sector but three-dimensional, is there a unit for how angular that angle is?
Hindi ako sigurado eh. I think you may have asked something like this before nung Steradian or I'm not, ano, I've never had the chance to look into it yet. If there's an analog for angles in a three-dimensional setting, so
Opo.
I haven't looked at it yet. So let's recall the definition of 1 radian. 1 radian is the angle. Okay, uh, which subtends an arc having the same length as the radius. So, in other words, if you have a circle whose radius is 1 unit, let's say start from here, then we try to figure out from that initial point, how far do we have to go so that the arc length is also going to be 1 unit. So if you happen to take a tape measure and the tape measure ends up at that orange point, then that's going to be the angle that's going to be of measure 1 radian. 1 radian. Then let's say you have a circle of radius 2 units, okay, 2 units, and then you take a tape measure, start here, and then try to lay down and mark where 2 appears on the tape measure as you go around the circle. Let's say it ends up there, then the angle is said to have measure 1 radian. So it actually doesn't matter how big the radius of the circle is kasi no arc length mag-a-adjust rin naman. If the radius is 3.5 units, then the length of the orange arc must be the same, 3.5 units. But as the circle increases and the arc length increases proportionally with it, the angle, the opening of the angle doesn't change, and that's 1 radian. Okay, so you know how the conversion. What's the conversion between radians and degrees?
Pi over 180. Pi
All right.
radians over
Okay,
180.
is it something that you know where it's from?
I mean, the definition po of one radian nga po is if you put the radian on it. So if
Mhm.
you put the radius on the circle and then map it in the circumference numbers, the same.
All right.
So to make a full circle, you will need tau or 2 pi of those radii because the
Mhm.
circumference is 2 pi r. That's its definition. And actually, the area it came from area and it's the derivative. But anyway, po the
Hindi pa tayo sa area. You don't have to go there, and we don't have to go to the
three
derivative yet.
360 po of the 360 degrees is the full rotation. So that is 2
Oh.
pi that is 2 pi radians.
Mm-hmm.
So if a full turn is also 360 and 360 degrees. Therefore
360
360
degrees.
degrees is equal to 2 pi. And then pi is
Okay.
equal to pi radians is equal to 180 degrees.
All right. All right. All right. So, if follow natin nung proportionality, so nung angle, tapos nung arc length, okay? So, 1 radian, tapos yung arc length niya would be 1. But if the angle is, let's say, 360 degrees, oh wait, if ano pala, the arc length is, if the angle is 1 radian, then the arc length is equal to r, which is the radius of the circle. On the other hand, if it's 360 degrees, then the corresponding arc length would be the circumference, which is 2 pi r. So if you start from this proportionality, what we then get is the following. The r's are going to cancel, and so consequently, 2 pi rad equals 360 degrees, or pi radians equals 180 degrees. Okay, so you're right. 1 degree is pi over 180 radians. 1 radian is 180 over pi degrees. But ultimately, it's just easier to remember 180 degrees, that's pi radians. Okay, and why radians are important? Kasi if you go back to our formula, so this is in terms of degrees, what I put inside the box. But if we do it in terms of radians, so let's say, let me write it in a different, so kunwari, this is, okay, theta in radians. If you write down the proportion, okay, S over 2 pi r, and then x, actually x degrees over 360. Actually, pwedeng dumiretso na lang ako dito. Hold on. Uh, so 180 degrees, 1 radian. So ibig sabihin, x degrees would be x over 180 radians. So kung ipasok natin siya dito, hold on, I'm confused. Paano to? Let me just start from scratch. Narito ako sa conversion. Hey, why did it get thinner? Okay.
You drew ano
So
po,
radius,
you drew scratch wrong.
ito S, tapos ito theta in radians. Okay. So S over 2 pi r, tapos theta, but for the whole revolution, we're not going to use 360, but because we're doing it in radians, it's going to be 2 pi. Okay. So we get an easier formula. S is equal to theta multiplied by r. Okay. So the two formulas inside the boxes are equivalent. Ng isa, in terms of degrees, of course, we can simplify this as x and then over, wait, big R for the radius. But ang nasa taas, yeah, we can simplify x over 180 pi big R. But definitely, mas simple nung nasa baba. Okay. What about the area of a sector? Do you remember the formula for the area of a sector?
Yes. I mean the sector is just 1 over something. I mean, okay,
Okay.
so the 1 over is a fraction of the circle. So the area of the circle is pi r squared. Uh, so what
So,
about
ang area nito, area is A.
so the area is so so A is equal to the fraction the theta over 360 there. Theta over 2 pi
So, okay, theta over 2 pi.
in radians.
Uh,
Pi r squared.
pi r squared. Right, so we end up with theta r squared over 2. Okay. Tapos, I don't know if this has been pointed out before, but this can be rewritten as follows. 1/2 theta r multiplied by r, algebraically, of course, no? 1/2 theta r times r, where theta r happens to be the arc length. So this is 1/2 s times r.
I
And
mean,
the nice thing about this seems to mimic
equal
the area
triangle.
formula for a triangle, di ba? Kasi you can think of the radius, and then this isn't really the base, but if you imagine it to be the base, so it would be s, and 1/2 base times height, 1/2 s times r. It's going to give us the area of the
Pwede
sector.
rin po isipin the triangle is just a special case of this because let's say for the
Uh,
I mean let's say for the curve keeps on receding. It gets bigger and bigger. So the curve gets smaller and small. The curve gets smaller and smaller till it's effectively just a straight line.
In other
So
words,
therefore,
we subscribe to the flat Earth theory. We are flat earthers,
we
Joshua.
are we are where's the aluminum dapat we should be wearing yung aluminum foil cap po. It will protect us from the 5G attacks from Bill Gates po.
Ay, oo, mga conspiracy ito. Alright. Ano tayo? Mga exercises. Exercise. Wait. I'm not gonna give, I have two here, pero nung isa, ipapasolve ko sa'yo. Kasi boring naman kung, sige, ito-drawing ko na ng isa, and then the other one, I'm gonna ask you to solve it.
Ano po, solve it on your own. I will give you a
Yeah.
green.
So not drawn to scale, as usual.
Dapat mag-hire po kayo ng graphic designer to make all of your figures po to scale. Tulad po lang.
Pwede ko na-draw to scale, magkakakuha ka na ng hit ka agad. Dapat nga pahirapan kayo. Okay.
Archer.
Mga Joshua, consider the following circle. so para ma-challenge ka talaga. Oh, sir, that doesn't look like a circle. Well, Joshua, I said it's not drawn to scale. Okay. 2, and then wait.
Well, actually po, when it said to be not drawn to scale, it means the figures are similar, but it does not mean that the proportions are correct. So technically po, a circle you cannot label it not drawn to scale only if the circle po is not even a circle because
Is
it
that
must be a
even?
circle. It's just the proportions that are not correct.
Oh, sige, fine, okay. And paano yan? So, but sir, that's not a circle. That's just a blob. Ay. Yeah, secant segments are drawn from a point B outside the circle, intersecting it at A, B, C, and D as shown. Chords A, D, and B, C intersect at E. If AE equals 6.4, and then CE equals 0.8, and then PA equals 2, and PC equals 7. So these are all the givens. Find AB.
The mass of the sun. Find AB.
Yeah.
Uh, and CDE are similar by AD.
Mm-hmm.
Since
Yeah.
BAD is congruent to BCD because they subtend the same arc, and then of course BEA is congruent to CED because
Mm-hmm.
it is those are vertical angles.
Yeah.
So those two triangles are similar.
Okay.
So if
So
6.4
triangle BEA is similar to triangle. What's
triangle CED.
what's the correct ordering of the vertices? Is it CED?
Uh,
This
DEC.
or DEC? Ito naman corresponding. Yeah. So we see the correspondence. So okay.
And something something. What was I was going to prove something to, but I forgot. Uh, mm, mhm. How is ano po? How is AP 2 and A is literally 6.4.
That's why this is not drawn to scale.
Hmm. Uh, huh. A B C D B A B C. Uh, 2 7 7 part of similar. Okay. P D is I don't know. Angle P is congruent to angle P itself, of course, and angle ABC is congruent to angle ADC because they subtend the same arc.
Mhm.
So triangles EBC and PAD, but BCP and DAP are similar.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so the shorter side of BAP is 2, so its corresponding will be 7, which is CP.
Mhm.
CP over
Okay.
CP. And then the CP is 7, which corresponds to what? C
CP, which is 7, corresponds to.
medyo confused po ako sa ano eh, sa CP is it still corresponds to AP pala po. So I got
Oh,
confused. So
but that similarity that you are gonna arrive at, we use that to prove a particular relationship between lengths of chords, between lengths of segments in a secant. So what
yes.
conclusion? Since I gave that, I gave labels already. So anong equation masusulat natin?
X over Y is equal to 6.4 over point 0.8. Similar,
So dito to.
also,
X,
abo,
X over what?
X over Y is equal to 6.4 over point 0.8. Also, X plus 2 over Y plus 7 is equal. Oh, wait, yes. X plus 2. Oh, wait, what am I doing wrong? 2, 7 over 2 is equal to X plus 2 over Y plus 7. Yes.
So in fact,
So,
could we have arrived at the following equivalent statement right from the get-go? Diba, from point P, the power of P with respect to the circle is 2 times x plus 2. That's this product. But the power of P with respect to the same circle using the secant PD is
bro,
7 multiplied
I
by
did not, kasi wala pa palang tangent line, I did not connect it to the power.
oh, so, yun. So, remember, hindi naka-anchor lang sa tangent. Pwede rin using just the secants.
Opo. So,
But then, now we have a system of two equations.
6.4y is equal to 0.8x.
So, this
Or
is,
y is equal to, or y, oh, no, no, no. Yes, or y is equal to 0.8x. Oh, yes, 8.
all right,
That's
yeah.
funny. I forgot. So y is equal to x over 8.
All right. And
Uh,
then you can put that
have to
here
do.
and solve for x. Uh,
Oh, so where's the calculator?
calculator.
Yo, kaya nga po sa lagay. Uh, okay. So 16x, the 16x plus 32 is equal to 56. Oh, wait, ba? Say 7. 7x plus 49 times 8. What's 49 times 8? It's not necessary. Yes, it is necessary.
Is it?
So 45 times 8 is equal to 320 plus 40 is equal to 361 minus 1 is
Huh?
equal to, ayun. What? No! If x is equal to 40. Yes, that's already be, that was the desired variable.
Oh, right. And I didn't, as you can see, I didn't use a calculator. But yeah, I wasn't just multiplying. And so x is equal to 40. Nice figure. Now, something that I'd like you to try on your own and follow the,
Try on your own.
yeah,
We want green box. Na, na,
with a
na,
smiley
na, na,
face.
bro, smiley face, and then the copy paste, bro, double whammy.
Oo. So talagang ano, mamasayang masaya ka, no? Kasi, okay, lahat ng
Ayun,
pinapangarap mong
it's the,
mangyari.
it's the extremely sarcastic smiley face that, it stares into my soul.
Yeah, okay. So circle again.
Yes, very, ano po, very accurate circle. Circle looking glob. Not that.
Okay, AB is 2 square root of 3, BC equals 2, CP equals 2 square root of 2, and CD equals the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. Find the length of the arc AD. So it's not the measure half, but this time it's the length itself of the arc AD. Yeah. Okay. And then some miscellaneous problems. The miscellaneous problems involving circles. So this time I don't have to hold back. Dati kasi when it comes to geometry problems, I couldn't write down the problems right away because I was worried that we haven't discussed yet the requisite material needed. But I think now we have. Okay, A, B,
Ayun.
T, and then P and Q. Okay. Circles, but lumipis lang. Then circles P and Q are tangent, and each has radius 1. Segment PQ extended meets circles at A and B, and AC and BTC are tangent to circle P. AC and BTC are tangent to circle P. Find AC. So the only given length here is the radius. It's a common radius, so that means the two circles whose centers are P and Q. So these are congruent circles. Then question, find the length of AC. Ano gusto mo? Ikaw mag-try nito on your own?
Mm, my ano po, my entire ano po, my entire my entire emotion structure ano po breaks down when I hear. Would you like to
Ano?
try this on your own?
Ano, would you like to try this on your own? Let's say, dagdag
Hmm.
dito sa isa,
I have a multiple problem eh. So, ano po ba, will I switch or will I stay? Hmm.
what do you think?
It looks the I think
Uh,
I think ito pong green box deserves to be on the first problem or this one. I don't know.
okay. Itong next. So, hindi natin lalagyan
Pero
ng green box example talaga.
POV po. It's not just the multi-hole problem. It's the double multi-hole problem. All goats for all doors are goats.
Excellent. Wait, hold on. The pen's trying to catch up. Okay, I think it's time to close it and then open it again. Alright. Ayun. Okay, example.
Ito, example. No more green box. Leaf.
Ah, ang hirap. Again. Insert two circles.
Oh no. Bro, kala ko pa lalagyan na po ng green
Oo
box
nga
yung
eh,
moment na yun.
nung na-copy eh. But don't worry, that's
Nakita
not
ko,
what I
nakita ko po na,
intended to copy.
bro,
Not what I intended. So,
gamitin niya po ang analysis theorem to determine the center. Nice.
ganito na lang. Oh no. Wait, I need to figure it out what I can do. Uh, malayo. Yeah.
The scale.
Finally. Okay. A, E, B, D, C. Okay. So given A, E, B, and C, D, E are common tangents. So AEB is a common external tangent, CDE is a common internal tangent. Okay. If AB equals 6 and AE is double EB, find CD.
Mm. But ano po, laos na po yung mga CD.
Ayan.
Laos na po yung
Yeah.
mga juice.
Ano. Kala ko, wag ka sa
Ay,
akin, medyo bago pa ang mga CD, ang mga laos sa akin, mga VHS, mga Betamax tapes, which are beyond your time. Ano,
find CD po. I cannot find a single CD. Alright.
ano,
Mm,
ano, mental
if
computation,
AB equals 6 and then AE equals 2EB. So therefore, AB is equal to 3EB.
AB.
Yes. And similarly, ED is equal to EB itself. Nice. Yes. Okay. Something. Mm, find CD. AE is equal to EC. So
Mhm.
EC is equal to 2 to EB. And ED is equal to EB. So therefore CD is equal to BE. Hmm. So if AB is equal to 6 and AB is equal to 3EB, then EB will equal 6 over 3, which is equal to 1 plus 1. And then since CD is equal to BE, then therefore DC is equal to DC is equal to DC is equal to 1 plus 69,420 s to the zeroth power times quantity 2 minus 69,420 to the zeroth power, all to the zeroth power.
You lost me there. You lost me. Nasusundan ka pa eh. Okay, so anyway, hold on, Joshua. EB is equal to 2. Alright, that follows straight from here, right? Just say AB is equal to 6. So actually, this is 2, and then this is 4. And then, why is CD equal to EB?
EB is equal to 2 because it is a tangent.
Okay. Also, ED here. This
Opo,
is what you
EB
meant.
is
Okay.
equal to 2. And then since AE is equal to EC, therefore CD is
Alright.
equal to
Alright, so easy peasy. Okay, it's just a matter of keeping track lang naman dito. So, draw two shapes.
egg shape.
Joshua, what are you singing?
I am murmuring for the I am murmuring for the language of the Greek gods.
It's so good. It's so what unholy sounds. Ah, gosh, wait. I should start with.
This is the line book. It will be much easier.
Okay, yeah, and then almost done.
Montes theorem.
Okay, so A, B, C, then next time ng mga ano tayo, mga Ptolemy's theorem, F, G, and then J, and then H. So we have triangle ABC, and then these circles are tangent to each other, and they are tangent to the sides as shown there. Okay, given DE equals 3 CF equals 5, and the perimeter of triangle ABC equals 28.
Okay,
Find
opo.
AB.
So, CB is equal to CG. CE
Okay,
is
so
equal to
3
CF.
CF. Okay, CE equals CF. So
So,
that
therefore, that's
means,
5.
so 5 din yon.
AB is
Okay,
equal to CG. So, therefore, GF is equal to 3.
okay.
AB is equal to AH and BH is equal to BG. So if we add all of that, then it means 16 plus 2AD plus BG is equal to 28.
2AD plus
2BG. Or essentially, 2AB is equal to 2AB is equal to 12. So therefore, AB is equal to 6.
okay, like I said, this is and then AD plus BG, but then AD, then BG are equal to AH and BH. So this is 16 plus twice AB equals 28. All right. Okay, so that means AB, as you said, is 6. Awesome. And see, dali lang. It's easy peasy.
Apo, construct a heptagon using only Euclidean tools.
Uh, maybe we could end with this one. So I'm just taking miscellaneous problems with circles, which is what godly sounds are that? Okay. A B and C P D. Okay. So two circles are externally tangent at point P as shown, and then segment CPD is parallel to common external tangent AB. So CPD is parallel to AB. So that's what's important. The radii of the circles are 2 and 18. Find the distance between the midpoints of AB and CB. All right. So that's the figure. So let me copy this so that we have preserved a copy of the problem because there's definitely lots of markings that we're gonna have to do here.
Why is it necessary for in every lesson to make me suffer beyond repair?
Why not? Why not? Okay. Why not, Joshua? Why not? Okay.
Philosophical question.
Okay, I think no, since we're doing tangents here, let's mark the centers. You know what? Might be a good idea to make this larger. Yeah.
Huh? POV. Talagang ginawa niya pong larger.
A, B, C, D. Let's call this E, and then let's call this F. Okay, because of course we have to mark the radii, which are 2 and 18. So this is 2 units, and then this is 18 units. Okay, but then of course, if you draw this parallel, so this is gonna be 2, so that's gonna mean EF. Let's call this G. So that means GF equals 16. Okay, because FB, that's a larger radius, is 18. So it's written above, but the only two figures here, the only two numbers given are the radii 2 and 18. Okay, so FG here must be 16. What we are interested in figuring out are, well, we want the distance between the centers of the midpoints of AB. So now AB, let's say this is the midpoint. Let's call it M. As for CD, ang midpoint ng CD, it should be on the somewhere there on the bigger circle. So let's say it's somewhere here. Okay. So we're interested in MN. Okay. MN ang gusto nating malaman. MN. It would be difficult to find the distance between M and N by trying to figure out their coordinates. Because that means you're gonna have to draw the figure that was where's the origin. But sometimes if you have to find the distance between 2 points, if you have to find the length of a segment, one thing that helps is to think of a right triangle. Think of that segment whose length you have to find as the hypotenuse of a right triangle. After all, di ba, ng distance formula, the proof is based on the Pythagorean theorem, which is based on a right triangle. So if we want to find the length of MN, we have to think of a right triangle. So it would have to be this right triangle. So to find the length of MN, we need to find the lengths of these two green segments. Okay, let's label. We have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So let's call this H. Okay, so we want to find.
The next letter po is 1.
Ano yan? Letter I na lang next, no?
Next letter after H po is 1.
1. Yeah, I. Right. Okay, pero so far wala pa akong interest with putting down. For that's what we need. So we need, we need, okay, MH and NH. Nung NH, paano kaya yun nung NH? AB is a... Oh, wait. Ganito. M is the midpoint, right? M is the midpoint of AB, where AB is the common external tangent. So I know we are interested in figuring out MH, pero maybe we could try figuring out how long is AB. Because MH, one of the green segments, it's part of AB. So at least let's try to figure out AB. Kasi M is the midpoint. So hey, if we know the length of AB, then we know what AM is. And we know what BM is. So let's start with that. Okay. Paano kaya natin mahahanap ng length ng AB? Paano nung ginagawa natin dyan? Drawing natin. Ito, ulitin ko dito. Let me use blue. Okay, para hindi magulo dun sa drawing. Ito nung AB. But as a clue, din drawing ka na nung EG. Okay. And then EG, diba, is equal to AB. So if we want to find AB, then hanapin natin ano length ng EG. Any idea how to find the length of EG? What is GF?
The length of EG is using the Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah. All right. Sige. Kasi,
You know, GF
what's
is the
GF?
radius minus 2.
So in fact,
And
ito
this
na
also
yun.
not the
GF is,
extent.
so GF is 16. What's EF?
EF is the sum of two radii.
Sorry, what's that?
It's the sum of the radius of
All
circle
right. Kasi if you connect the two centers, you're going to pass through the point of tangent CP. Okay, so EP is 2, PF is 16. So this is going to be 18. So that means you can figure out EG. The square root of 18 squared minus 16 squared. I'm not interested in actually doing 18 squared, but that's 4 times 9 squared minus 8 squared. And then this is 2 square root of, and then 81 minus 64 is
15 squared plus 256. And then 18 squared is 324, I think.
81 minus 64. So 15. Wait, hold on. 17. Right? So that's EG, yeah? Okay. So this means BM is equal to the square root of 17. Okay. So this is the square root of 17. So if you want to find MH, then we need to figure out the length of HB. Okay. Medyo parang ano to kailangan ng smiley face, no? Okay. How about we Ito. Hindi, I mean, even me, Joshua, I'd like to think about it. All right, I'd like to look at this more carefully. Anyway, if you have the time to do it, then try to do it. But you can start with the two smiley faces. All right. All
May
right.
yung
Bitin ba?
smiley face ko eh. Hanggang pa.
Okay, so bitin no, pero sige, pag-isipan natin. It's also already 4:32 p.m. Joshua. Okay, but PM, and then have to think, paano natin hahanapin nung NH? Pwede mo din pag-isipan. Now, part of NH is 2, so ito yun, di ba? Nung 2. So, ibig sabihin, nung may isa pang part, let's call this point J. Okay? So, question, what is GJ? Yun yung kailangan natin malaman. Okay? Alright. Sige, Joshua. I'll see you.
May tanong pala po ko, pagkatapos po ng Z, ano po yung gagamitin na letter?
Ano, A sub 1.
Kasi inisip ko po pwede ba pong gamitin yung mga, let's say po, accented letters. Let's say po, A, E or something. Pagka kailangan.
Accented letters. A sub
Parang
E,
ano po,
ganun.
kasi sa Denmark po, sa Danish, may O tapos may cross. Kahit pwede mo po
Ah,
gamitin. Hindi naman po
for
ambiguous.
math, unless you can write it down clearly. Of course, with written work, one of the things we have to worry about is how do we distinguish that between a parang nagkamali ka lang. Halimbawa, I mean, A prime, I guess if you write it down carefully enough, sige, it's clear. Minsan kasi if you write it down on paper, baka minsan may mga markings lang na hindi nabura. Okay, but I don't think we're gonna get up to Z. If we get up to Z, yikes. All right.
Opo.
Okay. So, all right. I hope you enjoyed the problems today. Nawa ay naligayahan ka at naengganyo sa ating ginawa ngayong araw. Hanggang sa muli, ininanais ko na gawaran mo ng panahon na pag-isipan, pagmuni-munihan ang ibang mga na pag-usapan natin na hindi natin natapos sa kasalukuyan. Nang sa gayon, sa ating sunod na pagkikita ay maaari nating ituloy ang diskusyon. Paalam! 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 Gigigil! Paalam sa inyong dalawa. Ginoong J.
Alam mo, ginawa ko yung picture.
Okay.
Hindi po.